how the people were so desperate to pick this man, you know, this unbelievable narcissist who could change the face of our world if we let him. And the only thing that will save us, and I know you can stop this. I know you can stop this, because the power of the people is bigger than those assholes that are there in Washington.
It's messier than the conclusion of a reality show divorce, and Cher Sarkeesian just went all out on Donald Trump and Melania's marriage. The Queen of Shade didn't hold back, spilling secrets, making fun of Trump like a baby doll, and launching into a tirade so intense that it could melt the gold decor at Mar-a-Lago. Wait until you hear what Cher just revealed if you thought Melania's "I don't care" jacket was chilly. This is iconic chaos, pure and simple.
On paper, he looks so good, you know. He was brought up rich. He had a good education. He's got all these young chicks. I don't know how young, but he's got all these young chicks, and he just keeps trading them in on younger chicks. And he's got all this money, and he's famous, and still he's such a.
Trump was strangled on the neck somewhere in the garish gold-plated caverns. At one point, he was enjoying his typical hallucinations, posting angry posts in all caps about how he created democracy on his own, exaggerating the size of his crowd to the point where even the people of China would scoff, and accusing windmills of being responsible for everything from his bad hair days to the high cost of petrol. Boom, the next one. Cher appeared.
He's an asshole. No, he's such a dangerous, I don't know how he is a candidate. He is so dangerous, and what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country is bigotry and distrust and a certain kind of supremacy.
And when Cher appears, she doesn't just appear, rather she erupts like a truth-filled sequined volcano, sending nonsense and hypocrisy hurtling into space. It was more than just a call-out.
He's an asshole. He's such a dangerous, I don't know how he is a candidate. He is so dangerous, and what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country is bigotry and distrust and a certain kind of supremacy.
A wind machine, pyrotechnics, and possibly backup dancers were all part of this verbal deconstruction, which was on par with a Broadway production. Even Fox News had to pause for a moment before frantically trying to turn the public outcry into some sort of bizarre cancel culture conspiracy because it was so vicious.
I have to tell you something. If someone said that my daughter was a hot piece of ass, I would put my fist through his face. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, deserves nothing. He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of respect, loyalty. I don't think he has two moral fibers.
The web? Yes, it was yelling. More quickly than Trump's attorneys could file last-minute appeals, memes went viral online. TikTok became an endless festival of remixes. X was once Twitter, but let's face it, Twitter is still Twitter. Even Elon Musk is unable to use hashtags to make that platform as embarrassing as Trump's. Even your uncle, who continues to post hazy pictures of Ronald Reagan on Facebook with comments like, "Real leaders don't need teleprompters," had to pause his disinformation post in the middle of it to observe the devastation. There's always something Cher has to say. Silence has never been her style, and she has been a force of nature for decades.
He tells something, and then you go back and you see what he said, and it seems like the truth both times. He's so terrific at lying. I've never seen anybody so good. I mean, it's amazing. I could go on and on this subject forever because I'm so traumatized.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. She revealed a devastating truth this time that even Trump's hairpiece recoiled in fear. His fragile ego was sent reeling like a million tiny bankrupt casino chips by a full-fledged rhetorical haymaker, not just a jab. Cher wasn't going to hold back because she had the unwavering confidence of a woman who has not only survived but flourished through the competitive music industry, Hollywood drama, and enough reinventions to make a phoenix green with envy. She has endured at least 87 farewell tours, each more legendary than the last, as well as trends and critics. The internet did what it does best when she leaned in, grinned, and unleashed the truth like a wrecking ball covered in rhinestones.
I will try and be as direct and honest with you as I possibly can be. I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my.
Her remarks set off a social media firestorm in a matter of minutes. Everywhere on the internet there were reaction videos, tweets, and memes, with opponents rushing to reply and supporters encouraging her. Cher, though, she didn't flinch at all. She's been here before, and she's dealt with more formidable opponents than a reality TV personality who went into politics. And this is what we have learnt from history. The world pays attention when Cher speaks. She also drags in a stylish manner. We all knew that Trump was not going to overlook this one, so let's talk about his inevitable response. Alarms were going off somewhere in his golf cart-shaped panic room as his advisors frantically tried to figure out how to make this catastrophe seem less embarrassing while scurrying around like contestants in a Survivor episode. Shall they act as though Cher didn't say anything? Should they use their old, worn-out strategy and label her a washed-up has-been? Attacking a woman who has survived disco, Reaganomics, and decades of autotune is obviously the right thing to do. Or should they employ the tried and true Trump strategy of having a tantrum so loud in all caps that it overpowers reality?
The people he will bring with him will put an end to any hope that women have of getting the rights that we had in Roe versus Wade. I believe they will put an end to any gay marriage. They will put an end to gay adoption. It's not going to hurt me. I'm 70. It's not going to do anything to me, but it's going to do stuff to young people. And that really scares me.
Then, as if on cue, it occurred. Truth Social's dreaded, angry, typo-filled meltdown. You could almost hear his tiny ketchup-stained fingers tapping frantically as he smashed his keyboard in incredulous shock, unable to understand how Cher of all people, could have the gall to call him out. He then let loose his trademark digital outburst with all the elegance of a broken fax machine. Sad Cher, a complete failure, never been successful, worst career, fake music, bad at life, bad at singing. She is even disliked by everyone. This is what everyone is saying. As erratic as it was predictable, the message read like a combination of a toddler's tantrum at a toy store and wild libs. He failed to see the irony of a man who has dedicated his life to pursuing fame on reality TV, attempting to undermine a woman who has dominated pop culture, music, and film for more than 60 years. Self-awareness, however, has never been his forte. The irony, the man was out here trying to disparage the career of a woman who has been a cultural icon for more than 60 years because he believes that the YMCA is a personal anthem. Trump's attempt to disparage Cher's career is akin to a pigeon insulting an eagle. Listing all of Michael Jordan's championship rings is akin to arguing that he wasn't that great. Naturally, the internet reacted appropriately. He received the memes more quickly than subpoenas. Each tweet with a quote was a work of art. Each Instagram post is a mocking Renaissance painting. Even TikTok, a website primarily operated by young people who are too young to recall Trump's pre-reality show days, had a great time transforming his meltdown into musical remixes that Cher herself could likely utilize as the opening to her next album. The most amusing aspect of it all, Cher didn't have to do anything to answer. She just let the internet do what it does best, which is to make fun of Donald Trump. Cher was somewhere totally unconcerned while he was spiraling, desperately trying to control the story and perspiring through his ill-fitting suit like a man who just realized he left the stove on. She was most likely enjoying a perfectly mixed martini while relaxing in a luxurious velvet robe and reveling in the mayhem she had caused. Furthermore, why wouldn't she? It was the kind of takedown that required no effort on her part, the kind of chaos that seemed almost poetic. This was more than just a retort. It was a cultural moment that unfolded like a masterfully composed satirical movie scene. The sole distinction? Trump was the joke and it was real life. His team, meanwhile, was in full-fledged panic mode for DEFCON 1. His public relations team, if you can call them that, given that the majority of his employees were whatever interns hadn't rage quit yet, was working feverishly to keep the catastrophe under control. It was similar to witnessing crime scene investigators attempt to clean up a massacre, except that the floor was covered in the broken remains of Trump's pride rather than blood. Every effort to distort the facts only made matters worse. Every attempt to contain the damage only made it worse. They appeared to be attempting to extinguish a fire by dousing it with petrol.
No! What's one nice thing about him? There's nothing nice about him. I can't say one nice thing about him.
Then there was Fox News, doing what Fox News does best, frantically trying to change the story into anything that would divert attention away from Trump's humiliation. Their breathless segments probably focused on Cher's status as an elitist Hollywood liberal who was disconnected from the American people. Perhaps they even managed to fit in some ridiculous conspiracy theory about how she personally created inflation, funds Antifa in secret, and once glanced at an American flag without properly saluting it. It was an obvious message. It wasn't that Trump had become unbelievably embarrassed. No, the true villain in this situation was Cher. No amount of panic spin from his inner circle or frantic Fox News segments, however, could stop what was happening. The winner of this feud was already determined by the internet, and it wasn't the man who was ranting unintelligibly on Truth Social. As anticipated, the culmination of this meltdown was a quintessential Trump rally, which felt more like a surreal fever dream than a speech. It seemed as though he was pulling topics out of a hat because of how wildly his hands flailed and his face was an unnatural shade of orange. He was complaining about Hunter Biden's laptop one minute. He was wondering the next day why Cher's name contained so many vowels. Power, elegance, and longevity contrast sharply with chaos, desperation, and a never-ending need for approval. Trump is still struggling, fumbling over his own words, and making headlines for all the wrong reasons, while Cher effortlessly maintains her status as an icon. The difference is obvious. Cher dominates, not just survives, while Trump struggles under her shadow.